Potato chips are made out of potatoes. You cut the potato really thin and you fry them and you take them out and you add a little bit of salt on them. And Pringles are not true potato chips. They're made out of potato flakes combined with rice flour.
So what is the objective or the point of your science experiment?
To find out which chip has the most grease in it.
Okay. And what makes potato chips greasy?
The oil.
The oil that they're fried in? Okay. So, what is your hypothesis for your experiment?
My hypothesis is kettle cooked chips because whenever you touch them, they feel really greasy.
So your hypothesis is that the kettle cooked chips are going to be what?
Greasier.
Than
Baked and Pringles.
Okay. So can you show us the materials that you're going to use for your project?
Pringles, kettle cooked, baked, wax paper, and graph paper, but we taped 2 pieces of graph paper together so the grease doesn't go through the graph paper, a rolling pin, a kitchen scale, and a timer.
Okay. All right, so what are we going to do first? You've got the instructions on your computer. So what is our first step? What are we going to do first? Okay.
Lay a piece of wax paper on the scale.
Okay. All right. So we're going to put the paper on the scale. Let's turn it on. And what chips are you going to use first?
The baked.
Okay, so remember the instructions tell us we're going to weigh the chips first.
Okay.
And we only want to use between 0.5 ounces and 1 ounce of potato chips.
Okay.
All right, so you can start putting some on your scale and watch the...
6.
Oh, that says 6 grams, so that means we need to remove some, right?
4.
Okay,
3.
okay.
1.
There you go, now you have exactly 1. I'm going to move your notebook out of the way. So then you're going to take that chip, or the chips, and you want to put it on the graph paper. And you're going to cover it with the wax paper. So take the wax paper and put it on top. And then you want to, let's put it in the middle. And then you want to crush that chip down into the paper. So you can use your hands and you can use the rolling pin to crush it down. And when you get it all crushed, then leave it just like that and set your timer for 1 minute.
On the alarm or on?
Just make it go off in 1 minute. It doesn't matter how you do it. Okay. Now we're going to do this how many times for each kind of chip?
3.
3. So let's do it again for another baked chip. So you're going to do the exact same process. And see if you can measure 1 gram.
1 gram.
Okay. And then what do? You take the chip. And then what do? Okay. And you're going to crush it again. Make sure you crush it real good. Okay. And then once you've got it crushed, we're going to let it rest. All right. Do you want to go ahead and do the third one?
Yes.
your timer went off. So that means, according to the directions, that we are going to go to this first one right here, and we want to take the wax paper off, and we want to take the potato chips off. Let me go get the garbage can. And we want to see what that graph paper looks like. Okay? All right, so come right here. Let's finish this one first. Take the potato chips and put them in the garbage. Try to get them all off. Okay? All right. We'll throw this in the garbage. Okay, let's do this. Label the top of this one baked. That way we'll know. Good. Okay, it's probably been about 1 minute for this one. So let's do the same thing. Don't worry about that one yet. Let's finish this one, okay? Okay.
Oh,
All
looks
right.
like that one has more.
Okay. And then label this one baked.
I'll do it at the bottom.
That's fine. Okay. And this was the first one we did, and this one was the second one. So let's number this one number 2, and we'll number that one number 1. Okay, now we're gonna let these sit. I'm gonna move them out of the way, and you can measure that one.
0 grams.
If it says 0, then you need to add another one, huh? See what happens when you add another one.
2 grams.
Okay, maybe take away, yeah, the little one. What does it say?
0 grams.
Okay.
Two grams.
That can't be right.
It ain't going down.
Oh, it says -2. Okay. All right, let's reset it. Try it again. There we go. That got it to 1. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna let that one hang out for 1 minute. So can you set that to 1 minute? All right, so while we're letting this one hang out for 1 minute, let's get ready for the next one. So we've done the baked one 3 times. What chip do you want to do next?
Pringles.
Pringles? Okay, so we're gonna do the same procedure with the Pringles.
It's at negative, so I hit? Oh,
Just hit the, did it work?
2.
Here, let's see. Here, let's try it without the wax paper just to see. All right, no, it's okay, put it in there. Okay, now put another one, get another Pringle and put it in there with it. Okay, so let's do this. Can you maybe break one of them in half since it keeps... All right, so put the Pringle in there. Let's just hang out for a second. Now this one has been here for 1 minute. So let's go ahead and do what we did to the other ones. You need to empty this into the garbage and we're gonna let it hang out and sit. Okay, let's label this one. Can you see some grease on the paper?
Mm-hmm.
This is not Pringles, these were the baked.
No.
This was the 3rd time we did the baked chip, so that's baked, and that was number 3. There you go. now let's go back to the Pringles. Okay, so put your Pringle in the scale, on the scale. Put it on the scale. Okay, now let's add another one to it. Okay, take one of those chips and maybe break it in half and put a smaller piece down.
One.
There we go.
So put both of them down.
So put this back in the can because we're not going to use that right now. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing. So what are you going to do? You're going to take your chips. Set your timer. Okay, while that's going, get ready to do your next one.
I'll do half of this chip and another.
Okay, see if it's the same.
Right now it's at negative. So should I hit unit?
No, don't hit unit because that'll change the unit. Take the chips off of the, let's reset the scale. Okay. Right, maybe add another half of one.
Sure, I'll use this.
There we go. Okay, so then what do you do? Okay. All right, good job. Okay, so now what are you going to do with this one? It's been 1 minute, so we're going to take this off and put it in the garbage. Okay. Now let's label this one. So this one was Pringles, and that was the first time we did it. Good job. Okay. Oh, look at the grease stain on that one. Do you see that? Okay. You're going to set your timer for 1 minute. And while we're waiting on that, then we need to do Pringles one more time. Okay.
1 gram.
Okay. All right, put them in the middle together. Yeah, because it'll be easier to get the squares.
I'm going to go ahead and smush them with my hand.
Okay. Good job. Okay, so that means we need to dump this one. Go ahead, before we write on this one, set your timer for 1 minute for that chip. Okay, now this is Pringles 2. Good. All right, you can put the top back on here. All right, so now what are you doing?
Doing the chocolate chips.
Okay. All right, so let's dump this one because our minute is up. Let's dump that one and then we'll go to the other one. Okay. All right, so this was Pringles
That's 3.
3. Let's label that one. All right. Got it crushed up. All right. So now you want to set your timer.
Here, I'm just going to. Should I set this?
All right, so you'll have to either get a smaller one or break that one to see if you can get it down to 1 gram instead of 2. There you go, 1 gram. All right, so these are the ones you said you think are going to be the greasiest, right? And why do you think the kettle cooked are going to be the greasiest?
Because whenever you touch them, it feels like really greasy.
They feel really greasy when you touch them?
Really.
Okay, all right. Okay. Go ahead and set your timer for 1 minute for this one. Got it? Good job.
Whoa.
Whoa, what? You see a big grease spot on there? Okay, let's label this one. You can just say kettle. Mhm. All right.
Last one. Okay, this is correct.
Oh, that's a big chip. How much did that one weigh?
3.
3 grams.
1 gram. Oh, it went up to 2.
Might have to break it. All right, let's do this first. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, let's label this one. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. All right,
I'm
so
going to
now
go ahead and label chemicals.
that's good. Here, let's reset our scale, okay? I'm gonna dump these out. I'm just gonna dump them out in the trash can. And we're gonna reset the scale. Okay, we reset the scale, so now you can...
Okay.
All right, perfect. 1 gram. Okay. Good job. you've done each kind of chip 3 times. So how are we going to decide which one was the greasiest? We're going to record some information in your notebook. You made a chart. But when we look at our graph paper that our potato chips were on when we crushed them, how are we going to decide which one was the greasiest? How are we going to know?
We're gonna look at each one to see which one is looks like it has more.
Okay, so we can see which one looks like it has more. So the directions over here, do you remember what they told us to do to figure that out? Do you remember what it told us to do? Your graph paper has little squares. So what are you gonna do?
You're gonna count how many squares are covered up by the grease.
By the grease. We're gonna count the squares that are covered by grease. That's right. Okay. All right. And you've got that one labeled. Okay, go put that one down at the end of the table with the others. Okay, so let's look. Let's show our friends what we've got, okay? All right. So Ellie, come over here. These first 3, Ellie, I need you over here. The first 3 were the baked. What do you notice? What do you notice about these, about the first 3?
There's not a lot like on this one.
Right.
The squares are barely covered.
Okay. So that was the baked lays. Okay. And then let's do the next 3. The next 3 were the Pringles. What do you notice about those? These 3?
There's a lot of grease on them.
So when you compare that to the baked lays, there's what?
There's more grease than the baked ones on the Pringles.
Okay, so the Pringles have more grease than the baked ones.
Yes.
Now let's look at the kettle cooked. What do you notice about the kettle cooked?
It looks like a thick amount of
You can see a lot more grease, can't you? What else do you notice? Anything else?
It looks like there's more grease.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to actually count the squares and write it down in your notebook.
Yes.